Hello, viewers. I'm Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, stands before you with a very significant topic, vital topic on international relations, that is national interest. In international relations, national interest is a very important concept. And so far as national interest is concerned, we'll discuss mainly its meaning, components, types, determinants, and promote methods to promote national interest. So this video mainly emphasizes meaning of national interest, components of national interest, types of national interest, determinants of national interest, and methods to achieve national interest. So first I will take off. What is a national interest? National interest means a nation tries to achieve a purpose or objective which is beneficial to the country. So national interest means a nation tries to secure some objectives which is gainful for the country. Nowadays, every nation prepare its foreign policy, implement its foreign policy in such a way by which the nation will be benefited. It is national interest. So in this context, we can take three important definitions. First definition has been given by Morgenthau. According to Morgenthau, national interest means it is survival, protection of physical, political, and cultural identity against encroachment by other nations. So according to Morgenthau, national interest means protection of physical, political, and cultural identity by a nation from the encroachment of other states. It means a country will have to protect its physical, political, and cultural identity from encroachment of other nations. And another definition has been given by Brookings institutions. Very nice definition. National interest means what a nation feels to be necessary for its security and well-being. National interest means what a nation wants for its security and well-being. So national interest means what a nation feels to be necessary for its security and well-being. A nation when feels about its security and well-being, it is a national interest. When a nation thinks about its security and well-being is its national interest. It is told by Brookings Institution. Finally, another good definition has been given by Vernon von Dijk. Vernon von Dijk. According to him, national interest means which the state seeks to protect, to achieve in relation to each other. National interest means which a nation seeks to, which a nation seeks to protect or achieve in relation to each other. National interest means which a nation seeks to protect and achieve in relation to other nations. So national interest means the objective, the purpose which a nation wants to secure for its survival is the national interest. So you are clear now what is a national interest. Now we'll discuss components of national interest. There are mainly two components of national interest. One is necessary or vital component of national interest. Number two, variable or non-vital component of national interest. So what is the necessary or vital component of national interest? Necessary or vital component of national interest means there are certain things which a nation cannot make sacrifice. There are certain things which is very vital for a country. A nation cannot sacrifice. Even if it is necessary, it can go for war. It is vital or necessary components of national interest. And number two, non-vital or variable component national interest. It means there are certain things which a nation may sacrifice. It may not go for war. It is non-vital or variable national interest. Okay, viewers. So till now we have completed what is a national interest. Number two, we have discussed two components of national interest. Now we'll see types of national interest. National interests are 6 types. Number one is primary national interest, second national interest, general national interest, specific national interest, permanent national interest, and variable national interest. So, first one is primary national interest. Primary national interest means there are certain matters which are very much important for a country. There are certain matters which are very much important for a country. A country cannot make sacrifice. A country cannot give up. There are certain interests which a nation cannot give up. It cannot sacrifice. If it is necessary, it can declare war also. It is known as primary national interest. Number two, secondary national interest. Secondary national interest means there are certain things which are not much important. If necessary, a nation can make sacrifice. It is known as the secondary national interest. And number three, general national interest. General national interest means which a nation thinks for all nations. A policy which a nation shows for all nations, irrespective of regions, continents, it is known as general interest, general national interest. But what is specific, not special? Specific, F-I-C, specific. Specific. Specific national interest means when a nation gives priority to a particular country. Specific national interest means when a country thinks specially in a particular situation. So specific national interest means when a nation shows special attitude to any country. It is known as specific national interest. And number 5, permanent interest. Permanent national interest means the national interest of a country which cannot be changed all of a sudden. It is a long-term national interest. A country cannot change it immediately, but a country can change the permanent national interest slowly. Just reverse of it is the variable national interest. Variable national interest means the national interest which can be changed on the basis of the situation, on the basis of the occasion. So, variable national interest can be changed from time to time, but permanent national interest cannot be changed. It can be changed slowly. So, you are clear. Meaning of national interest, components of national interest, then the meaning of national interest, component of national interest, types of national interest. Now we'll discuss determinants of national interest. Who determine the national interest? Just as a student is being determined by parents, teachers, friend circles. In a similar manner, a national interest is also being determined. The first determinant of national interest is the operational philosophy criteria. Operational philosophy criteria means the predecessor's policy. What policy the predecessors were following, it is also a determinant of foreign policy. It is also a determinant of national interest. What a policy is being followed by the predecessor, it determines the national interest. Here there are two views. One is symptotic, other one is the incremental. Symptotic means whenever a new person will come to power, he can change the predecessor's policy completely. He can follow the reverse policy. It is the symptotic. Other one is the incremental. Incremental means what the policy the predecessor is following, there will be the marginal changes, not abrupt changes. It is incremental factor. So, first determinant of foreign policy is the operational philosophy criteria. Number two, ideological. The ideology of a country also determines the national interest. For example, the ideology of a country is communism. So that country will try to establish its relationship with communistic countries. It will avoid democratic countries. If the ideology of a country is democratic, it tries to have good relationship with democratic countries. It will avoid communist countries. So ideology also determines the national interest. Number three, moral and legal. It is also a determinant of national interest. Moral means whenever a country will prepare its foreign policy, it will take the oath that it will follow moral features. It means it will not act immorally. It will not exploit any country. It will must fulfill its assurances. It should keep up its promises. It should act in moral way. Then legal. Legal means whenever a country will prepare its foreign policy to secure national interest, it must go through international laws and principles. It will not take shelter of illegal things. It is also a determinant of foreign policy. National interest. Number four, pragmatic and pragmatics orientation. Pragmatic and pragmatics orientation means whenever a country will prepare its foreign policy to secure the national interest, it must not see what is good, what is bad. It will think what is just. It will not see the negative sides and positive sides. It will see what is good. For example, a doctor looks after the patient, an engineer looks after the bridges. They will always see about the just thing. So, pragmatic or pragmatist orientation means whenever a country will prepare foreign policy to secure national interest, it must see that it will act in a just way. And number 5, partisan. It means whenever a group will take the power of a country, if it is majority, if it is from majority group, it will try to fulfill the goals of majority groups. If a group of minority will come to power, it will see if a group of partisan means whenever a country will prepare its foreign policy to secure national interest, it will not see whether any party will be in loss. It will see the country's interest. It is partisan determinant. So partisan determinant means whenever a country will prepare foreign policy to secure national interest, it will see the country's interest. It will not see its party's interest. If it is necessary, it may be out of power. So a government will see the country's interest. It is known as the partisan factor. And next, ethnic or racial. Ethnic or racial means whenever a group will come to power and it will be from the majority sections, it will see the benefit of majority section. If a minority group will come to power, if it will be from the minority group, it will see the interest of minority groups of the country. Next, foreign dependency criteria. It is also an important determinant of foreign policy. Foreign dependency criteria means sometimes a country is being protected by some other country. Sometimes a country is being protected by other country. So whenever that country will prepare its foreign policy to secure national interest, it must see the interest of that country which is protecting it. For example, now Afghanistan is being protected by Pakistan and China. So when Afghanistan government will prepare its foreign policy to secure national interest, it will see that interest of China and Pakistan will not be in problem. So these are the main 7 factors which are determining the foreign policy. Now we'll see what are the methods of promoting national interest. How will promote national interest? How will secure good marks in the examination? To secure good marks in the examination, we must have good notes. So how will secure national interest? There are various ways. Number 1, diplomacy as a mean. Diplomacy means a country must have good relationship with other nations. It must have friendly relationship with other nations. By making friendly relationship with other nations, a country will try to secure its national interest. A country should not keep itself away from other nations. Rather, a country should have good relationship with other nations. By making good relationship with other nations, a country will try to secure national interest. Number 2, propaganda. It is also a mean to achieve national interest. Propaganda means the ability of a country to convince other nations that what it is doing, it is good. So propaganda means the ability of a country to convince other nations that its objectives are good. It is propaganda. Number 3, economic power. Sometimes a nation is giving financial help to other nations to secure its national interest. Alliance and treaty. Sometimes nations are forming alliances, groups to secure its national interest. Like America formed NATO, SEATO, CENTO to secure its national objective. Formerly, USSR formed Warsaw Pact to secure its national interest. So, treaties are mainly two types, defense and economic. Sometimes nations are forming defense alliances to achieve its objective, like NATO, SEATO, CENTO, Warsaw. And sometimes nations are forming economic treaties, like Marshall Plan of USA and Molotov Plan of USSR. So it is also a mean to secure national interest. And number five, coercive means. Sometimes a nation is declaring war against other nations. Sometimes a nation is putting restrictions in the trade of other nations. It is also a mean to secure national interest. Finally, imperialism and colonialism. Sometimes nations are spreading its influences in other areas. Sometimes a nation is establishing colonies overseas. Sometimes nations are expanding its influences to achieve national interest. So in this video we have discussed meaning of national interest, components of national interest, types of national interest, determinants of national interests, and methods to promote national interest. So I think that this video will be very much useful to those students who are studying international relations as a subject. Thank you, viewers. I think you'll make best use of this video. Again, we'll be here with another video. Till now, goodbye to all.